What's going on, Savages? Welcome to another episode of the Savage Snowflake podcast with me, Jeff Leach. How you doing? You all right? How's your week been? I had some great episodes over the last week. I hope you guys have enjoyed them. Apologies again for that shortened one. That was just a couple of little tech problems. But we released it nonetheless, and I will, of course, have Scout Delaware back on the show so we can, maybe make up for the hour and a half of podcast that was lost to the gods of podcasting. Thank you very much to all the Patreons as well. If you guys are supporting this podcast, patreon.com/Savage Snowflake. You can donate as little as $1 a month. Keep this bad boy rolling. And thank you, of course, to our sponsors as well. Over here, we've got manscaped.com, the finest purveyors of trimming wear for your hirsute downstairs areas. Gentlemen, if you want to trim that chest hair, that balls, keep them nice and smooth like a couple of marbles inside of us, a perfectly formed and leathery chamois leather. All you need to do is go to manscaped.com, use code SAVAGE. You'll get 20% off all of their wonderful products, including the Lawnmower 2.0, which is what I use. You'll also get yourself a free leather travel bag worth $50 and free shipping on every order. And of course, over here, Boundless Tech, the finest purveyors of vaping technology. If you, like me, like to relax in an evening, maybe smoke a little flower or a little resin or a little distillate, then you have to check out bndlstech.com. That's bndlstech.com, Boundless Tech, and they've got some incredible piece of kit over there. I personally use the CF710. They've got a brand new piece of CF720 coming out. Also the Terra as well for flower. So if you want to check them out, use code SAVAGE. You'll get 25% off all of their tech. That's not a small saving. That's a huge saving. So make sure you check them out. Thank you very much. My guest today, though, who has been, you were side-eyeing me and going nodding along. You were like,
you're very good. You're professional.
Thanks, man.
You don't stumble. I stumble over all my words.
I said a couple of words funny there.
Yeah,
but
not
bits,
many.
Just pretend like they didn't happen.
I screw up every word. So that's good.
Every single word.
I'm impressed by people. Almost. I'm impressed by people who can nail it like that. I would never be able to nail it like that.
Chris Franjola, ladies and
gentlemen. Yeah, here I am.
Yeah,
watch me stumble over every word from here on out.
Haven't stumbled over any words.
Not yet.
A hilarious comedian, and actually we have done a podcast before, back when I was in New York City.
We did a thing, yes. And there was another person involved, right? There was the third.
There was my buddy, maybe my buddy Joseph was on that one.
From London, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Maybe I could be wrong. But that was interesting.
I used to do a gaming podcast, a video gaming podcast.
That's what it was, yeah.
So it was like comedians talking a bit about video games and also about their own comedy.
And I know nothing about video games.
Yeah.
And this is like you have a setup, like a gaming setup.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is it. I used to do streaming out of here. Sometimes I still stream on YouTube.
And gaming's a whole other world, right? This is a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But also gamers, I think there's a lot of crossover between video game loving audience and comedy loving audience.
I've noticed that, yeah.
Because it's a lot of predominantly men and women who sitting at home on their PCs and they'll play video games whilst they're listening to their favorite podcast, or they'll watch stand-up comedy on one screen and they'll have gaming going on the other.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, second screening. We're all doing it now.
It's amazing. This is a world I don't know. See, I feel like I'm one. I don't know if the word is generation. I feel like I'm just a few years behind this, like this. I
understand what you're saying.
You grew up in this. I didn't. I had to play.
I was just on the transition. I'm 35, so there was a bit where this was completely
35
alien.
is the good spot. I think that's perfect. See, am
I still a millennial?
Am I know.
I'm at the very top.
You're at the very top. I think Eliza Schlesinger calls it elder millennial.
Okay,
so you're that.
Oh, in her special, she says.
Yeah, that's what she says. But
I laughed at that, and I was like, no, you're not. You're too old to be a millennial, and so am I. And I don't think,
right. But I think you're at the right time for this kind of stuff. To know everything about it.
Yeah. Also, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I mean, look, you have an incredibly you already had a big profile in the world of comedy and through TV work that allowed you and still allows you to tour and to perform to fans when you tour around the country. I am not at that stage in America yet. Whilst I have fans in different states, I think I'm more likely to sell maybe if I'm in a good state where people know me, 20 to 50 tickets, maybe.
Well, that's
20 maybe.
There are weekends we all sell 20 to 50 tickets.
Sure,
yeah.
But those are the bad weekends for you.
Yeah, that's a rough weekend.
Whereas for me, that's like for clubs they're going to be maybe I get a featuring spot.
Right.
So I have to learn all this and I have to understand the new mediums of spreading your comedy simply because I have to still build a fan base, especially in America.
And do you find it working?
Yeah, it is. The returns are happening. People are finding me, or they see me on stage. They find my other material. They find the podcast.
That's great because I mean I love all these guys who the big guys that we were talking about earlier, like the Rogans and Kreischer and Segura, and even Christina. they all came through podcasts. You know, it's not television anymore.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do a set on the Tonight Show. It will really mean nothing other than it looks good, but.
See, that's it, isn't it? It used to be that you had to work really hard. You get seen by a booker.
Right.
You go, all right, this guy's good, you know, and they come and see you a couple of times. You get your 5-minute set right.
Right.
They put you on a late night show. And then because of that, you can now go and headline some clubs, perform around the country.
Which I think has become a problem because as a guy who's a headliner and has been for a long time now on the road, you do need to have the time that I don't think a lot of these people who are really trying to hone a 5-minute set out here, they don't have it. And I won't mention their name, but I just was, kind of following a comedian on Instagram who went on the road to a gig, and she's not on the road a hell of a lot. And she's like, wow, this is tough. Like doing 5 hours a weekend, basically 5 shows a weekend. I don't have it, and
Oh, she was meant to be doing a 1-hour show every time she went up as well.
Yeah, 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah. That as a headliner, that's kind of what you have to do. You're doing Thursday, Friday, and Friday, Saturday. That you have to have that time, and if you don't, the clubs will never have you back because they got to sell.
Nor should they.
No, they got to sell the chicken wings and their beer and have to drop those checks at a certain time.
Yeah.
So if you're bailing at a half hour, like this is not how we do this here. So
they've started to find that now. Is that you'll get Instagram comedians or people that blow up on different platforms. Which, don't get me wrong, look, I'm not gonna. Whilst I might not necessarily enjoy a lot of the Instagram comedy because some of it's very short format, it's very for me, it seems a lot of it is aimed at very young audience and very simplistic comedy concepts. Like, whoa, look at that big ass on that chick, and then it'll be like, what? And then she turns around, it's a man's face, and you're like, nah. And that's
I totally agree.
1 million views.
Yeah.
And then that character might get themselves a tour to go and perform at comedy clubs because they know they can sell a few hundred tickets in every state they stop in. But then they don't have the material, and they realize it's hard.
Well, what I find, and I find that you don't see them going around twice because I think that people go the first time just for hey, let's go see whoever.
Yeah.
And then I don't think they'll do it again. A year later, will they pay that money again? Because I don't think they were that impressed with the first time. That's what I'm finding.
Yeah.
So as you go out into the A rooms out there in the country, the Funny Bones and the Improvs and stuff like that, you'll see the same 25 people basically.
Yeah.
And they haven't really changed in quite some time.
Yeah.
There's a few new ones, like a Taylor Tomlinson, and some newer people are getting in there, and they're solid, very good comedians. But for the most part, it's the same guys and girls who've been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the newer people have the time.
Yeah.
And maybe that's good or bad. I don't know. But I don't know if you know Jeff Dye. Comedian Jeff Dye?
I'm a DYE.
DYE.
I know the name. I don't think I've.
Great
I'm
guy.
not sure if I've ever met him.
On the road a lot like me, and I did a show here a couple days ago, and we were talking about how I think as comedians we almost look down upon being a road comedian. Like it seems, I think we've done that ourselves.
Really? What, in this country? That's
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. In this country.
Do you mean in kind of like, look, in popular media, for instance, the TV show Louis? When he's
right.
Was it who played the Doug Stanhope plays like a really look at how unprofessional I am. He talks about how professional my intro was.
There it is.
Fucking phone on that. But yeah, in that show, Doug Stanhope is presenting like a road comic who's really. He's very bitter about the world and blah, blah, blah.
And we've done that not only on that show. I mean, it's, even in the everything we talk about, like I was in Omaha, Nebraska, and that sucked. This and that.
Yeah.
And
it's like you're going through the
Chuckle Hut
trenches.
becomes like a thing. That's a joke name we use for a club.
Yeah.
And I feel we've told the world, or at least America, that what a shit way to make a living. We brought that on.
Yeah.
These people sit there thinking, this is amazing. I'm watching a professional comedian in a professional comedy club.
Yeah.
But so Jeff and I were talking about how it's something to be proud of, to be a headlining comedian on the road that you can take to any city in the country, or the world for that matter, and have a solid hour.
And you
material.
can also, not just having a good hour of material, you can also make a fucking living. If you're
a pretty good one.
You can't live on comedy in LA unless you're immensely famous. Unless you're immensely famous from a TV show or something like that, where you can dictate, I'm only going to do some shows in LA.
Sure.
I'll go and book that theater, sell 1,000 tickets.
And it's very rare. That's, I don't know anybody who does that.
D'Elia did it.
Well, D'Elia, but he's not making, so he makes that, but then D'Elia also goes on the road every weekend and plays theaters.
There you go,
those guys, but that's, I don't know. Some people catch fire, you know. D'Elia is one of those guys who just went from. He's a great comic. I mean, I understand his appeal, but he's one of those guys who went from here to here.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
But he's
My
out there.
favorite part of that explanation was that you moved it from here to here. You didn't really.
Well, you know what I mean. Like
he went from East Hollywood to West Hollywood.
I mean, I was on shows with him 2 years ago, and like bar shows. And,
wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's been a big jump.
And now it's theaters, and not only sold out theaters, like getting a second show.
Sure.
Things like that, and that's crazy, man.
But there's I feel like there's now two types of road comics.
Yeah.
There's road comics who are comics. All they've ever done was a stand-up. They were at the clubs. They built up a fan base. They built up audiences by going there, getting in town, being funnier and funnier to the point where people go, oh, Chris is in town. I'm going to go down and see him. Come on, let's call some friends up.
Yeah.
And then you sell your house out because you're good at what you do and you've proven it. You've got proven
You
track
hope
record.
that.
But then there's other road comics who are people that are they're still on the road,
right, doing
a tour, going to a different city and a different state every night, you know, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every week.
Right.
But they didn't get the audience through their stand-up comedy pursuits necessarily. They got it because they're huge on a TV show.
Right.
And those guys post on Instagram, on my private jet, just flying into fucking, you know?
Yeah. like a Jeremy Piven. Yeah, like this is a guy.
I performed with him on Wednesday. Or Tuesday night.
How did that go?
Didn't see him perform. Got there late. So
where's this? Laugh Factory?
No, this was at the Dime. At the Dime.
The Dime.
Bar show.
Yeah, well, he's
Adam
friends
Hunter's
with Adam
night.
Hunter. Yeah.
So he was there, but he was. I mean.
See, I have a problem with a guy like that, and I know, like, more power to him. I mean, if he wants to, start comedy later in life, that's fine.
Well, hang on. Did he want to start comedy later in life, or did he get booted out of the acting industry because there was a few allegations around him?
That's kind of what happened. And so now he came over to comedy, and it makes me angry almost that everybody, because he sells out, he'll go play at an improv and sell out, and it's just
because he's famous,
right? And it's just not a good show. It's just not going to be, not anything against Jeremy Piven, but he just doesn't have the time. He hasn't put in the time. Yeah. There's no really shortcut around it. You have to do it for 15 years.
Yeah, and you got to suck a bit, and you got to get better, and you got to rewrite the gags.
So these people will come to the show, and then and what'll happen is these are people who probably don't go to comedy clubs every week, or once a month. They're going for the first time to see, and then they're like, hey, you know what? Stand-up comedy sucks.
Not for me.
Not for me. And they won't come back. So Jeremy Piven, a guy like Jeremy Piven, or some of these guys like Chris Kattan, or some of these guys who aren't like, stand-ups, will fuck it up for a guy like me.
What you're saying is that Jeremy Piven is the sole cause of the death of stand-up comedy in our modern era.
I'm not going to back away from that statement.
And I'll back you up. I'll back you up on it. I saw him. He's small. We could have him.
Yeah,
we're two big lads. We could.
We could take him.
He's never going to come
for sure.
us.
No,
he might have. I
don't have any problem saying that, and I know people have told me, oh, he's a good guy though. And I've heard from from people on the road who own clubs, he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
He's an asshole to the club owners. Mm-hmm. He's an asshole to people at the club. So
it's almost like his character Ari Gold on that show was almost an extension of himself.
That's almost exactly what I've heard. So anyway, I don't know the guy, and I like Adam Hunter, and I know Adam Hunter kind of works with him. So
Adam's one of the kindest guys. I think he's a very sweet gentleman, and I got a lot of love for him. It was strange when I saw that Piven was on the line. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I wonder how that came about. Here's the deal. I'm all for, innocent until proven guilty. I'm all for taking social climate hashtags and political movements with the appropriate pinch of salt that I go, yes, if I believe it's a good thing, I'll stand behind it.
Sure.
But also I will be open to the shades of grey that could exist within each of these political movements.
Yeah.
So
I completely agree with that.
Do I know if Jeremy Piven is a piece of shit to women? No. I have no facts,
I don't know
no
anything
proof,
about that.
No.
Yeah.
Is there any currently any kind of legal proof to ascertain that he was awful? No, as far as I know. There's been no arrest, there's been no charges, nothing like that. So in terms of Hollywood chitter-chatter, but you're right, have I experienced him being an arsehole to people in comedy clubs? Yeah. at the show on Tuesday, did he turn up and then stand behind the bar?
That's
like he was, hey, this is the VIP area for me.
This is what I hear about. Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Right.
We're in
I
a
know.
fucking shitty
I
little
know.
bar show performing for our
in
friends,
Hollywood,
having fun.
where I mean, I could understand maybe doing that if you're in the middle of in the Midwest or something. But in Hollywood, we could see the likes of Jeremy Piven and much bigger at any place all the time. You know?
Absolutely.
So this is the kind of things I hear about him. I don't know the guy, but it just pisses me off because he takes up a weekend at a club.
Yeah.
And there's only 52 of them. And if he's going to take one, and Piven's going to take one, and some of these YouTubers, Stormy Daniels going to take one, then now you're down to guys like you and I are fucked out of. Now we're fucked out of 7 weeks a year.
Potentially. Yeah, exactly.
So,
and here's the other thing as well. And this is where I'm trying to keep an open mind on this particular conversation about comedy, because I don't want to ever be put in the bracket, and I know that I have lately over the last year been guilty of that to some extent. I mean, like, you're sour, Jeff, because you're not getting work that other people are getting, and you're being jealous of that thing.
Totally. We're all that way.
However, I have, like you, heard so many times people go, oh, yeah, I know. I went to see a comedy show. I went saw some comedy, and I didn't like it.
Totally.
Stand up, yeah. And I go, oh, who'd you see? And they go, I saw these Instagram comics. I saw these guys off YouTube. And I go, that's not stand-up comedy, and that's why you fucking hate it.
Or what they'll do is this. I believe we're finally back from it, but I believe it ruined comedy for many, many years, where they were just giving out the Improv and the Comedy Store to anybody.
Right.
If you could get
to produce a show.
If you
bring in 100 people, you
bring in 100 people, you got the night.
Yeah.
And people would go.
Exists.
Yeah, and people would go. They would go and sit down and watch 8 comics who are doing it for the first time, or these graduating classes of comedy schools and whatever. So the family and there's nothing more painful.
You never did a comedy course, did you?
Many, many years ago, I did like a one-day thing 30 years ago.
Okay.
when I was,
I'd
19
be a hypocrite
years old.
if I said that I hadn't shit on comedy courses before.
Oh, I don't shit on comedy courses. I think it's, for people.
I have. And what I'm saying is I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't, at certain points in my life and career, if I hadn't gone, comedy courses.
We all do. I do too. And I sat in one time as a kid. But nobody from comedy courses ever goes on to have a career in comedy. Nobody. What they do, we all know. They go out, they do that family-friendly show, they kill. Then they go do the open mic the next night somewhere in the valley, and they bomb. And then they're like, that's it, I'm done with this. So they don't, they don't go 8 years.
Or they do the same 5 minutes that they learned during that course, and they continue doing that. And they're doing it to support their acting career. Right. To get this stuff.
Which is crazy to me because, I feel like, people think this stand-up is like an easy way to get into show business somehow, and I don't see that at all.
I agree. I agree. I don't think it's the direct route that most people hope it might be.
Yeah, I think there was a time where during the Ray Romanos and all Seinfeld's where you had a decent career, you got a sitcom, and that was the end of it. But those days are gone. I don't think there's sitcoms anymore that are led by a comic.
Yeah, for the most part. Or they're very established already.
Right.
It'll be like Last OG, and it'll be...
Okay, Tracy Morgan. Right. But even Tracy Morgan's not... I like that show, actually, and he's playing... It's a kind of a dramatic show at times.
You're right, it's not a situation
sitcom,
comedy.
So, I don't know. Anyway, here we are.
Well, the other thing I was going to say was, actually, though, are we guilty of not just accepting the change in what people want from comics? Maybe they want Stormy Daniels. We already said podcast is how people push themselves up now.
Right.
Well, Stormy Daniels has been very amusing on a lot of podcasts and a lot of appearances. So I've never seen her do stand-up. Maybe people want to
Here's what I'll say about Stormy Daniels. I don't begrudge Stormy Daniels because what Stormy Daniels has done, she's only played 3 clubs. Yeah. So she's not out there. And what Stormy Daniels has done, to her credit, she's done a Wednesday night at a couple of B rooms around the country.
Sure.
So she's not taking up a weekend or Friday or Saturday from a guy like you and I.
Yeah.
Like Jeremy Piven is doing. So more power to Stormy Daniels if she's going to get people in it on a Wednesday night.
Lots of pornography. And that's a gift. That's a gift to society, isn't it?
Isn't there another girl who does porn and comedy?
There's a few, yeah.
Sylvia Sage.
Yeah,
I don't really know her, but
what's her name? Aaliyah Janine back in New York. She used to do pornography.
Really?
Yeah. There's a few gals from porn or from the alternative pornography world,
right, out there
Suicide
doing,
Girls and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's great. I mean, hey, that Sylvia Sage
That's
girl.
okay.
That Sylvia Sage girl seems to be. I mean, she's out there every night at a bar show. She's hustling.
As far as I know, I performed with her once at a strip club in New York. It was me, her, Aaron Berg, and a couple other comics.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't have the best show that night.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a great show
Well,
to perform
she's
on.
new, I guess.
She was
right?
very new then. It wasn't a great show to perform on. But from what I've seen, like you say, she's actually putting in time to work every night. Aaliyah Janine, for instance, gave up pornography and is just full-time stand-up comedian.
Oh, really?
She works every night of the week.
Yeah.
You know, she's not at all the big paid clubs, but she's putting in the time and the energy. And when I've seen her, she's been funny. So it's like, all right, at least these ladies are approaching it.
That's great.
What we're saying is if Jeremy Piven just uploaded a few photos or videos of himself jerking off onto Pornhub,
that would be...
we would finally give him the pass he deserves.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
Flip the script.
Yeah, please.
Come on, Piven. Pegging Piven. Just do like a, do a lovely,
man.
like...
Jeremy Piven. And, I'll probably meet the guy one day and it'll probably be perfectly nice and I'll feel terrible about me shitting on him on podcast. Yeah.
Here's the thing that happened. Here's what makes me laugh more.
I'll give you Jeremy Piven. I'll give you two.
Okay.
I'm performing in Minnesota at a House of Comedy in the Mall of America. Great comedy club. Good people run it. And I am performing, and in the Mall of America, there's a Tesla shop. Sometimes they have these Tesla dealerships in the mall.
Okay.
And you're just able to look at the cars, whatever.
Touch it. Just imagine what it would be like to be able to afford
That's it.
it.
That's it. So I think that's what you do. And then if you want to purchase it, you go to another location and do that. So the guy will come to all the headliners that weekend and say, hey, if you have a decent following on Instagram, whatever, he'll say, do you want to drive a Tesla for the weekend while you're in Minnesota?
That's a good idea.
And put it on Instagram and all that. So most comics will say no, because I'm in the middle of a pretty busy city in Minnesota, and you're not going to drive around. It's winter in Minnesota. Yeah,
exactly.
So I said no. Most of the comics I talked to were like, no, I don't want to ruin your $100,000 car. Jeremy Piven said yes, I will take that thing. This is what the guy told me. Now apparently the key to a Tesla is a very expensive key.
It's a fob, yeah. It's just a fob
but it apparently costs $5,000 something to get it. Piven takes this guy's car, drives to some grocery store or whatever to pick up food before he goes back to the hotel.
Prostitute's house, yeah.
No, that's exactly what it was. Because he had like a girl with him. So what happens is he loses the key somewhere in the grocery store.
Inside her butthole, probably.
Perhaps, and calls this guy and goes, your car's in the parking lot of whatever grocery store this is. I lost the key. I'm taking an Uber back to the hotel. Come get it. And the guy's like, oh shit, like now I have to spend $5,000 to get a new fob and go get this car that's miles from where I got to be.
That you've just abandoned.
And he just abandoned it, took an Uber home with this hooker, and that was the end of it. And then I've heard other things where he gets driven to the club from a guy who actually really liked at Rochester, upstate New York, where he just like got into this kid's a feature act, nice guy, but he has a Nissan Altima, whatever, and he got in this car. I was like, this is what you picked me up in? Like, I was like, well, he's not a fucking driver.
You fucking hate me. 2001 Toyota Corolla, mate.
Oh, he wouldn't even get in.
Every time I hit the brake, when it's in drive, it but you get that fucking flywheel shaking on the engine.
I don't think Piven would even get in it.
He'd get in it. I'd fucking fill him full of drugs, give him a couple of edibles.
Anyway, so this is the guy. This is what's going on there. And I don't know. That's comedy. And I try
I'm
to
glad we could get the Piven. You had a Piven rant ready to go.
And I've done it. I do it. And I don't. It's just that it's not for me. It's for more guys like you who want to get a weekend at a club. But you can't because
I'm struggling to find work. How do you know that?
You'd like to work at the House of Comedy in Minnesota. It's a great club.
I'd fucking love to work there. And guess what? I'd turn down the Tesla too.
Right. You should turn down the Tesla. Don't take the Tesla.
Or I'd get
none of the cool comedians.
I'd get a nipple piercing so I could attach the fob to it just so I wouldn't lose it.
That's a great idea.
There you go. See, that's advertising right there. Elon Musk would okay that as well.
That's perfect. So anyway, there we are. That's comedy in this world. And what I was saying is you should be proud if you're a headlining comedian on the road.
I agree. You know what? Someone recently, one of my friends, she's an incredible comedian. In fact, I can say who she is.
What is her name?
Jenny Zagrino.
Jenny Zagrino.
Very fucking funny lady.
I know her, and we performed at a lot of the same places.
Amazing.
I don't know if I've ever met her, but I like her.
Oh, dude, she's like great conversation.
Yeah.
Very kind and very funny.
That's great.
I've never seen her not
I'm a fan of her.
Yeah, she's cool. So she And like all of us, she's got certain aspirations and goals and ambitions.
Right.
And she's a very talented actress as well. And she's been doing some movies. And she
Right.
did, like, a while ago, she did Bad Santa 2 with Billy Bob Thornton and stuff.
I saw
So she
that.
did some good stuff and some stuff at Comedy Central. But of course, like anyone in our industry, you might have like peaks and troughs of how much you're
it
doing.
never ends.
Exactly. And she was having a bit of a downtime recently and was like, yeah, just, I don't want to feel ungrateful because, I'm working, but I also like, fuck, man, so many missed things lately.
Right.
And it's getting a bit, and it's okay. She did that to me. She opened up to me and we had a nice heart to heart. And I was like, you think you're in a bad situation? I was like, you perform most weekends in good clubs around the country.
Yeah.
Like, you're already a success.
Yeah, that's true.
And when people, there's so many comics. Theo Von outside the Comedy Cellar at some point, at a comedy store, a couple of months back, I saw him there and I was like, hey man, I just want to say congratulations. You're doing really fucking well. Like the podcast seems to be blowing up. You're very deserving. I like what you and Chris and Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen all doing together. Yeah, you guys have found a nice group. You're working together. It's supporting each other, which
I love that.
Doesn't happen in comedy.
No,
very
I know.
often.
I think it's great that all those guys do that.
It's the easiest way to get successful.
Yeah.
Dude, go like, hey, look, who are my best friends in comedy?
Right.
You put me on your podcast at least once a month.
Right.
I'll put you on mine at least once a month. We're going to pool our fucking resources.
Yeah.
That's what all it is.
Right.
And
it
now we're all getting millions
and now
of
everybody's
viewers.
doing it. Yeah.
Wow, what a surprise. Seth Rogen, Michael Cera, Jonah Hill. They all did it. Craig Robinson. Those guys are all buddies. And
it's a
let's
good
all
point.
help each other up.
Yeah.
And you produce on my movie that I write and I'll direct yours. And we're going to cast the same fucking 5 people in every film.
Yeah.
And now they're all multi-millionaire superstars.
I know. And who wouldn't want to work with their friends? I mean, it's kind of the way to do it.
This is why I feel a little bit. Anyway, sorry. So, but even Theo Von, at the moment that he's just starting to experience immense success and stuff, and I was like, dude, you're killing it. He goes, oh man, thanks. I appreciate that you think that because I don't know, man. I feel like I'm not really doing it. And blah, blah. I'm like, I said, how many weekends you working, man?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm booked every weekend in a club. And I'm like,
yeah.
You already succeed. You're already a success story, brother.
Oh, totally. I mean,
Because-
he's one of the ones that...
Go and walk around the front of the venue and go and look at the 30, desperate faces
Right.
of open mic comics
Standing
or
in
people
the
who've been doing
bar.
it. Even more upsetting, people who've been there for 15 years,
Right.
still doing the same 15-minute set and
Yeah.
not getting the laughs.
Right.
Those motherfuckers are failing.
I
You're
agree.
working.
Yeah. If you look
But
at
it's
it like
relative,
that...
isn't it?
It is relative. Because like Jenny and I'm sure Theo and all... I mean, there are times where you're like, damn, why am I not there? But I think it just comes with age. I've stopped that. I used to do that. I still do. I must admit from time to time, I'll look at an Instagram and go, really? That guy did that or got this? Or, but
I think is a
it'll
natural
just
human-
drive
that's a
you.
natural human response.
Yeah, it'll drive you fucking crazy. That's a bad world to live in. So I find that you have to, and you probably do, I don't know, but you have to just have another life outside of this show business world.
Well, I set first of all my closest friends. I've got some very good friends in comedy,
Right.
And now in America, I've got some as well, which feels great. But my closest friends are
they're not.
fucking a therapist with kids in the Bronx and like
Right.
a woman who works in marketing.
That's how it
and
should be, because
a guy
that
who's
keeps you sane.
training to be a doctor. They're like just fucking real people.
I worry about some of these people people I like, comedians I like, who sit on these, Instagram, whatever, and just say like, "Thank you, my fan. Thank God, my fans, for keeping me going." I'm like, that's nothing. These people aren't. This is all fake bullshit. Fans. There's no fans here. They would leave you tomorrow. It's just strange.
I'm
thinking
comment,
of one
I'm not
person
sure
in
if I'm
particular.
100% on board with. Only maybe when you're at that level of success and you're talking to millions of people.
Oh no,
yes.
Kevin Hart or whatever.
You're talking huge names.
I'm talking people who have real fans, but I'm talking people who are at my level who are saying thank you for getting me through the day to my fans.
That's weird.
That seems strange.
However,
to me.
I'll say there's people who've been listening to there's people who listen to this podcast,
Right.
Who watched me when I was streaming full time. When I
Right.
was doing that. Who watched me on TV back in the UK.
Right.
People who've genuinely
but they're not
with
getting you
interest
through
for-
the day.
I mean, some of the ones who donate at patreon.com/established
The ones who buy the manscaping tool, if they
Dude, they're
buy
like,
and
I'm
use
not
your
even
code.
joking. Here's the thing that
It is nice that
let's
people
talk about
do these
fans.
things. Yeah.
Because actually, that's a really interesting conversation that I've never had with a comic on
Oh,
this podcast.
go ahead. I love it.
I have a gripe to say about fans.
Okay.
I get so many messages on a weekly basis. Hey man, when you coming to Tennessee, or when are you gonna come to Oklahoma and do a show? Well, come on man, when are you gonna come?
Say, sorry, I can't make it.
What's the thing? And I'll be like, well, I always just go, hey, look, let me know the local club, or why don't you phone up your local comedy club and say, hey, is Jeff Leach booked into this venue? Like, I want to see it. You know, I've got a group of friends who come. Just people want you to give them the entertainment. Right. For instance, 2 podcasts a week, completely free. Yeah. And they want it, and they don't want to do anything for it. Right. Yes. And don't get me wrong, I try and push the Patreon a little bit because, fuck.
You got to make a buck.
If out of the, let's say, like, regular listeners, you know, I said that we got 40,000 unique listeners over the course of the podcast, 70 episodes. Out of those, I'd say it's about 1,000 to 8,000 for any one episode, depending on, you know, what the subject matter is, what happens, who the name is, etc. But if every single one of those, let's say the hardcore 1,000 people who listen to every episode, if out of all of those, every single one of them gave me $1, I would be able to do infinitely more with this.
Sure.
Infinitely more. It would be fucking insane. Now, I understand that some of those people are kids or students or struggling to pay their bills or have just had a fucking kid or there's a million reasons why they can't give that $1. Yeah. And they go, oh man, sorry, it's just a really tough month. To those people, it's like, you don't have to give me $1. What you can do is when I post a post about my sponsor of the podcast, like it. Yeah. It costs you nothing. It takes you a millisecond, but just like it, because that means the sponsors are going to go, oh, cool.
Exactly.
His audience listens. Right. And they're going to give more money and vice versa. Like, you love the podcast, but you can't donate? Great. Take a clip of it or take your favorite episode and tell 3 of your friends.
And I will say this. The other thing that's very, very important, if you do come to their town, as they, you know, whatever town they tell you to come to, you have to come out that weekend to see them. Otherwise, you don't go back to that city. That's just the way it is. Yeah. So people will be like,
I don't care if a relative has died, whatever's happened.
You have to come. And people are like, how come you don't come to Chicago? I'm like, because I was in Chicago 6 months ago and nobody showed up.
Uncle Steve wants you to laugh. He wants you to laugh. He doesn't want you giving a eulogy.
I actually have an Uncle Steve. That's funny. So yeah, there you have it. So I mean, and I find that to be the case. It's so hard to get people out of the house these days. And I believe, I mean, this is a story for another day, but I believe that is going to be the end of all of us. The fact that nobody is leaving their home anymore. Really? It's only getting. Speaking in London, I just read that all these restaurants are closing down. This guy, I know he probably doesn't have, you know, restaurants that you guys do, but Jamie Oliver, celebrity chef. I guess he has 22 restaurants or whatever.
Some other restaurant offered to take on his staff. Right. And say, look, we know you're very great and we love the ethos of the
22 restaurants closed down because Jamie Oliver had some like high-end restaurants and some not. But he wouldn't do the Postmates and all that stuff because he has like high-end food. And he's like, this is an experience. You have to come and sit down and have it. So he went out of business for that reason because he won't deliver it to your home. Yeah. So, and then not only that, it was quite a few that I read that are closing down because people won't leave their house.
Have you seen the movie WALL-E? Remember that animated Pixar movie?
WALL-E. Yes.
And you know that how the humans are all presented there in those reclining, floating chairs. Yeah. They're all morbidly obese and they all just got like adverts and they're just the big gulp. Right. That's where we're going.
Of course it is. Never want to leave our seat. It's only getting worse.
And doesn't it feel great to be part of it? Doesn't it feel great
you're in it.
To be part of it?
Look at this setup you have. Why would you leave the house?
That's the only bad thing about marijuana is that, you know, there is sometimes the desire to go, well, I could go out and socialize and spend all this money.
And they'll deliver that shit right to your house, right?
Problem is also I could, order stuff for $20 to arrive at my door and then... just smoke a blunt and just watch my infinite entertainment on Netflix.
Remember when you used to go to a bar? Like I'm on the road on pretty much every weekend, and in the daytime I have lunch at a bar or whatever. Sure. And I used to have a conversation with the bartender.
Crying and rocking
I do that sometimes too, but there are times where I sit at the bar and talk to the bartender. Yeah. You don't do now. You just stare at the fucking phone because it's strange for you to even have a conversation with anybody anymore.
Now. Playing devil's advocate is whilst technology is affording us the opportunity to ignore other people and have different kinds of human interaction, more through messages and group chats and having a friend in Taiwan who you've never met but you play video games together.
Yeah, that's all pretty cool.
That's cool stuff. But whilst it affords us that, I still think there's a very active group of humans who are about the experiential feeling of, talking to someone directly. Or I feel that, man. I'm one of them.
Really?
When I go to a bar and I sit at a bar, I chat to the bartender.
That's good.
Because you normally fucking get a free drink, or you make sure a special cocktail, you get a bit of an extra pour from the lady behind the bar or whatever.
This is good to hear.
This is all interaction. I love that interaction.
Right. Do you feel it's different though with
and comedy clubs are still full. They're still full. We're not.
Yes, I hope so.
It hasn't taken a big nosedive yet. I know
no,
comedy
not
goes
yet.
up and
It depends.
down.
Depends on what city you're in. They just closed down the one in Seattle. They've closed down some.
And what's happening with the Punchline SF?
Well, the Punchline. I believe
it's
it's just a lease thing. I don't know if it's for lack of business, but there are some that just don't know how. Like the one that closed down in Seattle, it closed down for a reason. It was horribly run, and it just wasn't a good club. So
Jeremy Piven booked.
Jeremy Piven,
every weekend.
He was there every
Had a
weekend,
residency.
and for that reason, it ended. No, so I mean. I hope people come out. Look at movie theaters. I mean, who's going to the movie? I used to go to the movies twice a week.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a movie in 6 months.
But again, just because that's your personal experience, look at fucking, the Avengers
But that's
Endgame.
the only one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, everyone went to see the Avengers, but that's part of the problem. Nobody went to see anything else. Yeah. Nobody went to see that Seth Rogen,
Wind River.
Charlize.
How many people went to see Wind River?
What a great movie, by the way.
Amazing movie.
Yeah, but nobody, if you put Wind River in the theaters, they'd be, fuck that, I'm not going to Wind River. But Wind River used to be able to make money. I'll give you an example. There's a Rain Man. Okay. Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman in a summertime blockbuster about two guys, an adult drama about a guy with mental
autism,
problems. Yeah. This movie made it was had a huge open lines down the block to go to the movie.
Yeah.
Could you imagine today releasing Rain Man? They'd laugh you out of the fucking theater.
Absolutely. But again, this is all like new generation's tastes and, the way we're being fed what we should and shouldn't like. I think you're correct in the sense that the technological advances in terms of social media, etc. People think it's about being social.
Right.
It's not. It's about selling products. All of these things are about selling products. So they would rather sell you products that keep you in the house, because then they can continue to sell you products while you stare at that screen.
But doesn't that fuck up these brick and mortar build
100%? Yeah.
Now that cashier's out of bit. So
that's why they're all being bought up by fucking Snapchat or Instagram or Google.
But eventually this will bite them in the ass, because here's the guy who's a cashier or whatever.
Yeah.
That store is going to eventually close down. He's out of money, so he won't be able to buy the product you're trying to give him, whether he's sitting on his couch or in the fucking mall.
Yeah.
So eventually the wheels of commerce are going to stop moving because you put everyone out of business.
Well, wheels of commerce will continue turning, but only for people like Amazon,
which is already happening.
Yeah.
Forget
small
being
stores
poor.
dead.
Look
and now
at
it's all
this
just
city
mass
we're living in.
marketed. Yeah.
I've been in Los Angeles a long time. This neighborhood we're in right now, I started out here, and I've never seen homelessness like I'm seeing in Los Angeles ever in my life.
Yes.
There's tents on every corner.
Absolutely.
Not only Hollywood Boulevard and Western, there are tents in Beverly Hills on the sidewalk. I never saw that ever. And it's because there's no way a guy coming to this city, like when I came, I had an apartment on West, Hollywood and Vermont Avenue, Hollywood Boulevard in Vermont. It was $400 a month.
Yeah.
You could have.
You can't get a room.
You
for
could
that
have
now.
a waiter. You could be a waiter, and still pursue whatever you want to pursue.
Still have cocaine money.
Have all that shit. Back when cocaine was a thing.
Yeah.
But now there's no way you could afford living in this city and being a struggling whatever.
Absolutely.
Just you can't.
Absolutely.
There's no way.
Yeah, unless you want to live with 3 or 4 people.
And I don't even know if you can even do it then.
Yeah.
So everyone's got to spend $700. It's crazy to me. I don't know where. These are the things that bother me at night, Where does it all
I think
end?
they're good things to bother you, because obviously, look, you're also looking forward to the future. You got a little
right.
baby
Well,
on
let's
the way,
not
right?
talk. I don't really talk about that in public, but yeah. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Sorry. I just meant, but you're going to change the way that you look at the world and the things that you.
Yeah, no, it totally. I wonder if that'll. Yeah, I'm sure that would all change. It hasn't yet, but I'm sure it will.
But your mind goes through a change because you start to assess the world.
But
how can someone start to exist in this world?
And I also, like you, always struggle
Thanks
with the
very
fact.
much. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that was the end of the sentence. I was like, thanks, man.
No.
It's good to hear it.
Yeah, I
it
also do like you. But I struggle with the fact too. Am I just a fucking grumpy old man? Like this is just the world. It's just changing.
Yeah.
And you have to live with it. And I do live with it.
Yeah.
But I feel I was proven correct, and I have been. I feel like, especially in this city we live in, if you're especially a white guy over 40 years old, fuck you, you're dead in this town. You might, and I feel like leaving a big chunk of people,
straight white guy,
straight white guy. Yeah, no,
if you're a gay guy.
Oh, you think even then?
Over his 40s, yeah, fuck yeah.
Show me a gay white guy.
I watched a comedian the other night on a show. I want to be polite because his comedy wasn't written jokes, really.
Yeah,
that wasn't his style, and that's fair. You know, he was definitely an act out comedian, and his whole act was act outs, but it was mostly just like, oh my god, look at me, I'm naughty. Right. I might suck your dick. I could suck your dick anytime, and it was funny to watch. It was like watching Robin Williams, doing a character, but it wasn't a character. It was this man, and he was ramping up his homosexuality to be funny, and that's perfectly fucking all right. In the same way that Dave Chappelle talking about being back on stage is perfectly all right, or me talking about being a white dude in 2019 is perfectly all right. But there were no written jokes, and I was watching it going, I wonder, and he killed. Yeah, because he was funny.
And he's on like late night, like
he's on some shows. Yeah, he's been on some shows.
Yeah,
but but I was watching it and going, I wonder if you took away the flamboyant homosexuality, from his personality, his performance style, would anyone laugh at anything that was being said? And the answer was no. And that's, again, you go, okay, well, that's okay. That's okay because they're laughing because he's this big, fabulous, gay character.
Yeah.
But I thought that what I was watching was going, this is what audiences now are looking for, at least younger audiences, in comedy. They're looking for very identifiable, two-dimensional characters. They can go, yeah, I know what that is.
Right.
I know what that is. Now, as soon as you pose you pose questions in your comedy or make people think about the way they think about the world, and you talk about racism, and then the joke is making you go, fuck, am I a racist? Because of the way I see the world. That's the kind of comedy I love watching because it makes you question yourself.
Now, as a comedian, this takes us to a good... Have you ever really been offended by anything? Like
in my personal life, or
personal
on stage?
Life, I'm watching television, like whether I don't know where you stand politically, but
offended.
Say you're watching Fox News and they say something.
Oh, I'm offended every time I watch Fox.
But you know what I mean? Like
now,
but these people, you go to a comedy club. I was watching a clip. Just yesterday I was watching a John Caparulo, very funny comedian, was performing at Comedy Magic Club. He mentions Donald Trump. I mean, we've all made fun. Comedians have been making fun of presidents, not only Donald Trump, forever.
Yeah, Obama got stick when he was in power.
And then, Richard Nixon was a constant monologue punchline during the days of Nixon and Carson and all that.
Yeah.
But he just simply mentions her name in this clip. It mentions Trump's name. A woman, fuck you. He's like, well, I don't understand why we can't just... I'm not saying he's a horrible person. I'm just making... we have to admit,
and even if
some of this shit is funny.
Even if I am saying he's a horrible person,
so what?
I know. That's one person's opinion. Why does that offend you so much? You don't know me, you'll never have to see me again.
Like if I went to a comedy club and sat and watched the guy, I'm a Democrat. If I watched the guy rip on Hillary Clinton, I could give a shit. Yeah. It wouldn't bother me at all. Yeah. I understand where that's the way the world works.
Well, people are... That's all part of, I think... the idea now that if you're not virtue signaling for whichever side you think you belong to, then you're part of the problem. That's kind of the thing. I'm like you. I'm left-leaning Democratic mind.
Right.
However, I don't think everyone on the right is a fucking lunatic.
Neither do I.
And I sit very close to center.
Yeah.
And I like to listen to people's opinions on both sides of the fence. That's how I like to do it.
Right.
And I also think everyone over here on the far left and everyone here on the far right are all fucking mental.
Yeah.
So no, it wouldn't offend me if anyone ever picked on my political sensitivities. I'd go like, okay, cool. Tell me how you feel, man.
Yeah.
But as long as let's have in a comedy situation, I would respect the fourth wall and keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
But if I cared about it that much, what I would do is at the end of the show go like, hey man, I want to fucking talk about this stuff. Can we talk about this stuff? And if the comic went, not really in, I go, all right.
Yeah. It is.
I'm not offended by it.
Exactly. But it's also a weird world we're living in now where everybody has to agree with everything or we can't be friends. I don't know if I've ever agreed with all my friends politically. I don't really know their political stance.
I really love my parents, but they both voted for Brexit.
Yeah,
and I love them implicitly.
And the woman quit today.
But Theresa May just quit.
She did. She quit today. Yeah, she retired. She resigned. As of June 7th, she will be replaced as prime minister. Yeah.
Really?
I've watched her speech this morning. It was crazy.
That's great. And you know what? You know what's great about that? Is it won't just be the liberal left that will be happy about the decision.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy about that decision. Fuck Theresa May.
Isn't it strange that every country's kind of leaning in this weird direction? Like, as we are and as you guys are. And I was just in Brazil.
But
and
it's
they
a reaction to social
and they
climate,
went that
isn't it?
way. And
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I think we're all capable of being fascist, whether it's fascist left or fascist right.
There are some things Trump says where I totally agree with him. I really do. I'll say this about Donald Trump if I have to say something good about him. And I don't hate Donald Trump. I'm born and raised in New York. I knew Donald Trump my whole life as a this socialite New Yorker.
Used to play golf together.
Yeah, like he was like a buffoon in New York my whole life.
Yeah.
I didn't know him as this.
He's a gangster, though, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's
right. He was like a guy who got shit done. That he was a hero in New York years ago. I don't, you spent time in New York, right?
Yeah, I was there for 2 years, but from 4 years ago. So he was already.
But this was so he was already a political
public enemy number
guy.
one by that point.
Yeah, but in Central Park, there's an area called the Woolman Rink. Now it's a fancy ice skating rink that people go to at Christmas time, and it's gorgeous. Now, for years when I was growing up, you wouldn't walk into Central Park. It was absolute shithole. This was Rolling Stone song. Yeah. Walk in Central Park, staying after dark, people become crazy because you were fucking insane if you were in Central Park after
That's where all the crack
7
was.
o'clock. Yeah, terrible place. Then there was this rundown ice skating rink that was completely overgrown. It wasn't even open anymore. It was an overgrown shithole that was one time was a beautiful ice skating rink.
Yeah.
New York's fighting over it, red tape, this bullshit, that bullshit. Let's open it again. Let's not. Fuck, it's going to cost too much. Donald Trump says, I'll do it. I'll do it myself. I'll do it under budget and under time, whatever. I'll take less time. And he did.
Since he's become president?
No. This
was prior to his
30 years ago.
career, yeah?
This is when he became a god in New York. Before everyone hated him.
So his dad bought it.
Whatever it was, he
yeah.
got the shit done.
Yeah.
He said, I will get this ice skating rink done. I will make it look nice. And he kind of brought back Central Park because of that. And so I'll say he does do what he says he's going to do, whether you agree with it or not.
Well, he's building a wall, isn't he? Bit by bit, he's building it.
I mean, I think half that shit was there already. Like, I'm not really. Yeah. I mean, it was not always there.
I think he just made it a foot taller.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This guy Pete, Buttigieg, this is another guy who's in the Democratic side of running for president. Somebody asked him a question the other day about abortion. That's a hot topic right now. And he says I don't want to say, it's not my opinion. I'm like, well, if you're going to run for president, you have to have a fucking opinion on it.
You 100% need to.
Yeah. Then he says,
he did that because he's scared that if he makes it a very hard line, I'm pro-choice, then immediately
he loses 50%
or maybe more.
Yeah, right. So anyway, Trump comes right at him and says, this is the way I feel. I think he's bullshitting half the time just to get these people on his side. I don't think Trump...
Oh, Trump hasn't got a moral, ethical bone in his body.
I love when he says the Bible's my favorite book. Yeah, he never read a fucking
book,
page of the Bible.
Read it many times.
Amazing. But whatever.
Best words.
But aren't they all... The fucking politics is just craziness.
I've hit a point now in my own personal comedy where I'm really tired of doing political material and understand that if we talk about anything, subways running late or whatever, education in the country, that's all politics. I understand, but I'm talking specifically who's in charge, who hates who, what the latest thing. I've hit a point, and I think most of the country has, where we're just like tired of hearing it. Yeah, I
agree,
which is worrying because actually we need to be. It's almost like the conversation has become so. The conversation has disappeared. So now it's just constant arguments. There's no conversation. There's no debate. It's just, you're wrong and fuck you. You're wrong and fuck you. That's all it is. So there's no debate.
And that's just because people have a voice now, right? Like Facebook and shit. Like, we didn't hear from those people 20 years ago. I didn't know anybody.
I had to put up with like a fucking guy on a subreddit today on a Reddit forum just shitting on me.
Reddit's real fucked up, right? They're just crazy.
Well, it's just
I don't know Reddit.
Warriors. It's a mix of SJWs and alt-right fuckboys.
What's SJWs?
Social justice warriors.
Oh, okay.
And then, kind of alt-right fat fuckboys just going, yeah. Just like the guys who make Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Oh, right.
Who's, by the way, I never look at those scores before I watch a movie. Because
I must admit that it has swayed me a little bit on some movies.
Have you ever left a Rotten
Never.
Tomatoes? There you go.
Never. I don't even know how to do it.
You got a fucking career, Chris.
Right.
Like,
well, yeah. So I'll go with that. Sure. I'll be at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. When do you release this?
This will go out on Sunday. This Sunday.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be at the Comedy Store in La Jolla this weekend. No, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Sunday?
No, yeah, maybe. No, I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No, actually,
you
sorry.
Just missed
Friday,
Chris.
Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, there
Friday,
you go.
Saturday,
So come to tonight's show. Make sure you book tickets.
you got it.
This coming Sunday.
Yes.
Or
correct.
tonight. I'll release it in the morning at 9:30.
Please do, and I'll be down there. That's always a fun place. La Jolla, California. Comedy Store in La Jolla. Gorgeous comedy
You sound
club.
like the way you talk though about comedy as well. I
love it. I've never had more fun doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's also you're very like East Coast, straight talking kind of guy. I think.
Yeah, I mean, my stand-up show is real fun. I mean, if you come to my show, it's gonna be a fun hour, and I'm proud of it. I
it's
love
actually
it.
an hour. It runs for an hour.
It runs for almost an hour.
It's almost like he's a professional comic or something.
Depends. Depends. I'll give you an hour 5 sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending on how you are, how you behave, the audience.
Are there different? Do you ever like? Because we're like I say, we're not old men in comedy, but we're not kids anymore.
No.
Do you like the way that comedy seems to be changing? Do you think there's still room for the straight talking, matter of fact, man to the people?
I honestly think that's.
George Carlins, I guess more recent, who's still in it, Bill Burr would be a good...
Tom Segura, Bill Burr, all those guys. I totally think that's the way it I mean, funny's funny,
Yeah.
Like, you watch Nate Bargatze, like these shows, I just watched him. I thought that was great. He's completely clean. And, Sebastian Maniscalco, I don't know, Lori Kilmartin, who's like a hilarious.
Yeah, Lori Kilmartin's hilarious.
Oh,
yeah.
man, I see her at the Comedy Magic Club a lot down here she's just constantly new material. I never saw the same 10 minutes from her.
Yeah.
She's just hilarious. And, saying things that are offensive to some, I would imagine. I know everyone says you can't say this, you can't say that. Bullshit. You can certainly say these things are being said in comedy clubs. Yeah. They are. I mean, you can't say it on Fox News or CNN perhaps, but they're fucking being said in comedy clubs. And that's why comedy clubs that's what they used to be. A place where you could fucking go, when Carlin and those guys were doing these places in downtown New York, and Lenny Bruce getting arrested.
Lenny Bruce getting arrested after every show.
I mean, you'd lock the fucking doors and say what you wanted to say, and the people either liked it or they didn't, and that was the end. Nobody went to. Was
there a difference? Maybe the audiences were a bit more respectful, that they accepted that when you were on stage telling your material, there was a fourth wall. We sit here and listen. If I don't like it, I'll get up and I'll fucking leave.
Sure.
I've got no time.
Yeah.
Whereas now people think they have an instantaneous right to live review you for Yelp.
I also think we as comedians have. I think we did that. You're
saying we should hit more audience members.
Yes, exactly. No, we talk about heckling and all that bullshit and made it sound like it was, and we kind of let it. I don't know. It's a weird. Like, you don't see that happening when you go to see Hamilton on Broadway. People are not standing up and screaming it. You don't see it anywhere. But yet they feel they can.
I'd kind of like to see that though. Like someone
I would love it.
Les
they would never
be
able to handle
Fuck the French, man. Just halfway through the second act.
It is, but like we've allowed it to happen in comedy, and it's so strange that there's you wouldn't do that at DMV. Stand up.
How do we
scream.
police that? How what's our responsibility to police that as comics?
I think we and comedy clubs made it a thing. Like, we all know heckling. But if you said the word heckling, the first thing people think about is stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Because we did it. We made it. We let it happen. I don't know how, we're all guilty of it, but it's not, this doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah.
In any other form of entertainment.
I think, but also the way that we deliver our entertainment is in the form of a conversation with your best friends. I think,
you hope.
Yeah, the best comics.
You want
it's
it to
almost
be that.
like
I almost like.
Hey, I'm just letting you in on my.
I like you to feel that comfortable. You can. I'm not saying heckle, but if you're feeling that comfortable, you can have an exchange with me. I'm okay with that. I don't have any problem with it. But it is amazing. Like, there's a club in. It's closed now. It's a terrible fucking place in Kansas City, Stanford's. And
I like that you have to wait until it's closed, and now you can be like, okay, now I can shit on it.
And the owner died, so I'm completely free to say what I want. Checks bounce every fucking weekend.
Completely covered on this one.
But he would have $5 shot specials before you got into the room. He would keep everyone in the bar, before the show. and he'd have $5 Jägermeister, $5 peppermint schnapps, whatever shit he was serving. And then
if you're
the
classy
crowd,
girl, Fireball.
and the crowd, I know he had Fireball too, and the crowd would be fucking completely crazy every show.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't understand it. I'm like, well, here's the problem. You're doing $5 shots before the show. Why would you do that to the performer?
Yeah.
The comedy clubs encourage you to drink like a fucking crazy person. They serve drinks in fish bowls with 18 colorful straws sticking out of it.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anywhere else.
That's
Only
true.
in comedy. And and I like it for that reason. I like the lion tamer approach to comedy. I like the fact that you're up there with a fucking whip in a chair, and you got to keep these people, at bay for an hour.
But here's the difference, and I'm with you. A rowdy audience doesn't intimidate me, and 9 times out of 10, certainly once you're at this level of experience in your your career. It doesn't matter what people say. You should already have the fucking comebacks. You know how to deal with it. You know how to bring them back down. If it's whether it's a one drunk. Normally, it's either one hammered dude on his own, generally, or a group of girls drinking white wine. That's the two.
That's totally what it is.
Generally, 90%.
I've noticed a lot of couple, like a drunk couple.
Oh, really?
They will have gone to wherever Cheesecake Factory's in the next to the club. Before the show, they'll have
Crumbs
whatever.
in the
and then they'll come in.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
and what'll happen is they'll be chatting to each other at the table,
Yeah.
and that becomes a distraction. Then you say something, and then it's the fuck you, and now we have a problem. Yeah. That's what I find to be the case.
But here's the difference to that kind of, part of our job was to be very good at being the lion tamer, to keep it fucking there, even if there is a bubbling energy of drunken idiots.
Yeah.
The difference is when someone fucking went, and you went, bam, and just fucking, and put them right in their place. Generally, the accepted thing was, you got me. You got me. And they'd shut the fuck up. It was almost like going, all right, you did your... Whereas now, and this is what I've experienced, at least in the last handful of times that a heckler has started and I've put them in their place, not meanly. I've never just gone, fuck you, get out, you cunt. I have done that in the past years ago.
I have once or twice too, which makes you feel terrible because
it's unprofessional.
Now the room it's a weird energy in the room. Yeah. Anyway,
and the audience doesn't go with you on it because they go, well, that wasn't clever or professional.
Right. Yeah.
But even now, when I go like, oh come on, why are you being like this? But is it because of this? But funny little line, boom, put them in a place. Now people feel they have the right in the audience to go, you don't get to say that to me.
Right.
That's not. I'm like, if you put yourself in my fucking world, my creative world, and ruin the 15 to 1 hour of my day that makes me have any purpose or validation for my pathetic fucking existence. Yes, I do. I have complete right. And like you say, it's the age of offense now that people can go, no, you can't call me that. I'm offended.
Fake offense. I believe it's fake offense. I really do. I'll give you an example. There's a singer called Kate Smith. She's a singer in the 30s and 40s, very famous. If you're familiar with the term "game's not over till the fat lady sings," the fat lady is Kate Smith. That's what they're talking about. She was like, but by those standards, not fat by today's standards. She was probably 140 pounds, but back in 1930, that was fat.
Yeah.
So anyway, she was a very famous singer and sang a very famous version of "God Bless America" that's played probably in every stadium in the country.
Right.
Her version of "God Bless America." Now they play it at the Yankees before every game, and they play it at the Philadelphia Flyers hockey team. And I guess Philadelphia Flyers had put some stuff because they played it one time and they came back from a 3-0 deficit to win the Stanley Cup, so it means a lot to them in Philadelphia.
It's their one.
A couple weeks ago, they discovered that Kate Smith had sang some really racist songs in the 30s and 40s.
Right.
Stuff that she was just playing a character in a Broadway show, and these songs were racist in that show. She was, just doing her job. She was given a script and did what she had to do.
Sure.
So now they will no longer play this at Yankee games or Flyers games, and they covered the statue of Kate Smith in front of both Yankee Stadium and Flyers Stadium. They covered the statue with whatever, took it down. Everybody's up in arms, whether you're for it or against it. I won't go to Flyers games anymore. I won't go to Yankees games anymore. And I'm like, there's no way, if you're a Yankee fan, you could give a shit what song plays before or after the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference. So
or historically what the person who sang it.
Right. So this is fake. This is a fake anger. Because you're going to go to the Yankee game again. You're not going to not go to the Yankee game. You're going to go. It's fake anger.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel a lot of it's just fake anger that goes away in 2 weeks, right?
Well, look, this is, again, I had a conversation with a writing partner. We were working on a TV pitch, and we sat outside and we were having a blunt, and I mentioned Piven being on the show the other day.
Yeah.
And he said he was at a show, I don't know if it was at the Comedy Store, somewhere here in LA.
Right.
And Piven was on the lineup, and he was having a conversation with some female comedians prior to the show.
Right.
And they were going, "Oh my God, this is disgusting, Jeremy Piven. You know, he's fucking like, so he's #MeToo and blah, 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 blah." And then apparently later on the night, Piven was in the bar area, and the same girls who were shitting on him were literally buzzing around him like flies around shit. And he said that I just completely lost all respect for these people because it's like, don't tell me you're up in arms about something and then do the complete opposite, be that hypocritical. Right. And it's the same with other things. Like, don't get me wrong, if I understand the racial historical distress the Confederate flag symbolizes.
Yeah.
When I was driving from New York to LA to move out here, I was with a girl, a lady of color I was hooking up with or whatever. And she was like, "Hey, come and join me for a few days drive across town." So we went to Texas and she flew back from there.
Yeah.
But we went through the South and we saw fucking flagpoles.
Oh, it's crazy.
And it was a little unnerving.
So I would imagine it would be.
So I can feel how that would make you upset. However, I don't know, like seeing someone get angry because a woman sang a song that is so famous, but then another song. It's like James Gunn losing a job because he wrote a couple of shitty tweets a decade and a half before. That's the director of
Guardians
of the Galaxy. But now Bright.
He wound up getting the job back.
He got and this is the point.
Yeah.
He got the job back.
I know.
No one gave a fuck. No one's up in arms. No one's writing letters to the studio. I guarantee it. No one cares. They're going, yeah, it's okay. He apologized. So why did it even happen in the first place?
Right.
Why does Jeremy Piven get away with doing shit like that, but then people don't really give a fuck because they'll still go and hang out with him?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it's kind of weird fake anger.
Harvey Weinstein, man, guaranteed 100% without a shadow of doubt, that guy is a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
Of course he is. He's a fat, ugly, grotesque producer who made millions and millions of dollars and encouraged young actors to suck his dirty, scraggy balls to get a fucking role. Did we ever doubt that was happening? No. However, what's going on with Harvey Weinstein now? Does anyone know? Is he being taken to court? Is he being put in jail?
I read today that he had to pay $40 million or something to...
He's got to pay some money out to people. Okay, which he can afford.
Yeah.
And what's the other retribution? How many people have been like screaming from rooftops for the death of the man? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm in any way, shape, or form not with those people. I think Harvey Weinstein is a fucking scumbag. Yeah. And no, he shouldn't have a job in the TV industry.
I'm all for it. The less assholes in Hollywood, the better. They give up
after a week.
Yeah. Oh, everything.
I'm really angry about this thing. Okay, cool. Let's make a change about it.
Right.
Well, hang on a second. There's another thing over here. I gotta go over there. It's like, that's my gripe with my own political alliance.
Remember the guy dragged off the plane a couple of months ago?
The Asian guy who got fucking
getting dragged off the plane. And everybody posted, "I'll never fly that airline again." Yeah, I don't remember the airline.
Yeah,
and I fly
Delta.
It was Delta?
I think it might have been Delta. I've flown with Delta.
Yeah, so everybody had to. You fly whatever's the cheapest.
The price was good.
You just Google whatever's the cheapest, and you get on that airline.
There you go.
Regardless of what they do.
There you go.
So anyway, but we were all very angry about that, and I can't tell you the
angry.
Anyway,
and that's the issue. I think we need to either stick with our anger or we need to.
I feel like I've been terribly boring and unfunny in this podcast.
No, you haven't. You've been insightful and interesting.
Oh, really?
And here's the point.
Insightful and interesting is not interesting to listen to, though. I think you want to hear.
Not in the slightest. I think
pussy, fuck. Like that's what people want to hear, right?
They get that when they go and watch my set. They don't.
They
don't need that lowbrow humor on the podcast. This is my.
I love pussy, fuck too. I'm not above it.
I sometimes can enjoy pussy without even fucking it. I can just be.
Is that right?
Just
looking at it.
My girlfriend. I mean, I just have to be near her. I'm
happy.
That
is nice. Yeah.
But I'm not going to say that I don't.
No, don't you
love
dare.
the sexual stuff as well.
Yeah, I got you.
Just
Yeah.
And also, you don't have to only focus on the pussy.
Are you a motorcycle guy? I'm seeing a lot of motorcycle stuff around here.
Really? What you
Well, I see this.
My logo, my production
And then I
company
see, like,
logo.
you have, like, a thing over here.
All right, I do ride a Harley back in England with a club, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I don't have one out here.
You know, I hosted the Sons
I'll
of
die.
Anarchy after show on FX Live.
Yeah.
So I was involved in that world for
which
a while.
was huge.
Oh my God!
I remember seeing episodes.
The after show that I hosted got 9 million viewers a night, and they fucking hated me.
Why?
Because I look like this. You know, I'm not a motorcycle guy.
Because you look like a TV
Like you would have been
host.
better at
Because you look like a TV host.
and they didn't want that at all.
They wanted someone with a leather jacket.
You. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't here, mate.
It was.
Didn't get
I
the
know
job.
you should have gotten the job. I would have given it to you. I got paid like it wasn't enough. Like they pay like $2,000 a night.
That's still good.
Not enough for the hell I went through.
Okay.
Yeah. On
You
Twitter.
got shit for it?
Oh my God! Like death threats. It was crazy.
You know what would have been beautiful though is if you just like rocked up one day, just decked out in some kind of costume.
I did.
Oh, did
the
you?
final one, I kind of did. I've had some leather jacket on and whatever. The people on the show are great, but the fans of that show are maniacs.
Do you have to rush off this second? Because I'd like to know a little bit about that.
No.
You got 5 more
I'm
minutes.
Good. 5 more minutes.
All
5
right,
more
cool.
minutes.
Yeah. Is Norman Reedus incredibly cool?
Well, he's not.
Incredibly
Norman
weird?
Reedus is the other. He's on another show. He's on Walking Dead.
Oh, but didn't he ever appear? I thought he came. Oh no, you're right. I'm so fucking far off.
Yeah, he was Walking Dead.
All right, I'm an idiot.
Sons of Anarchy was Ron
Chris,
Perlman.
Chris, who's the young guy? The actor, the British actor.
handsome actor. Yeah, what the hell's his name? He played Jax on the show.
Yeah. Jax Teller was played by.
Yeah. Oh, he's an English dude.
English guy. He played Arthur after that in some terrible where he couldn't even do an English accent.
He played Arthur like.
Wow, he really had a big impact on me, and much so that I
Now
confused
can't
him with
remember
Norman
his
Reedus.
name. Anyway, yeah, real handsome blonde kid.
Yeah,
He's been in a bunch of stuff since.
yeah, he's killing it.
Wasn't he supposed to be 50 Shades of Grey for a minute? And he
Maybe.
and he bailed on that.
Yeah, because he had to do Arthur, and then
Yeah.
he did a film where he couldn't even do the accent.
Wait, you're talking about Arthur? What's Arthur?
King Arthur. He was in a
King Arthur. You're
he was
right.
in a
yes.
King Arthur
I
movie.
thought you were talking about the Dudley Moore. No, he wasn't.
No,
King
that
Arthur.
was
You're
Russell
right.
Brand did that.
Yes,
He did the remake of
awful
that,
remake of that.
which was the
Guy
end of his
Ritchie,
acting career.
end of his career. Guy Ritchie directed that King Arthur. It was supposed to be a huge hit, and they were going to make 10 of them, and it went nowhere, and that kind of ended his movie career.
I think understandable.
Charlie Hunnam.
It
came to me.
There you go. Yeah, Charlie Hunnam. There you go. No, sorry. Tommy Flanagan is.
Tommy, I know and like.
So Tommy Flanagan, I was confusing with Norman Reedus because my two
Yeah,
favorite characters.
He does look like they are a similar type.
They're friends as well, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think they ride
motorcycles together.
Yes. Now Norman Reedus has a motorcycle show
Yeah.
on with it, and I think he rides around.
And he
Tommy
also has
Flanagan.
like a clothing line that's
Yeah,
like motorcycle wear and
right.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's
so-
why I got mixed up. Sorry,
Yeah.
not because I'm just
Anyway,
clearly terrible at my
those were
job.
crazy times for me. That was when I was like, it was one of the things where I didn't think like stuff like that would bother me, like people shitting on you
On
online,
social media and stuff.
Like, oh fuck it. Like I don't know how the Kardashians do it. I don't know how Kim Kardashian could even open Twitter every day.
You know how they do it? They're so wealthy.
I guess
they never even look at their social media.
There's no way they have to see something.
Dude,
There's just no way they
touch
could walk
wood.
around without
Fingers
seeing.
crossed. I mean, it's 50-50 at this point, but fingers crossed my career continues to
Right.
go upwards in this country.
Yeah.
And I get to a point where I have the level of success or public notoriety
Yeah.
as an actor and a comic that these people have. I will I want to hit a point where I go fucking full Bill Murray and I don't
just
even
don't even
have
bother.
a phone.
I know.
I just have if you want to call me about work, there's a landline, leave a message and I'll call you back late that day.
Yeah.
And apart from that,
I
just gonna spend time
I
with
don't
my
understand
friends
why
and my
people
girl
who
and my
like
kids
we
one
have
day.
to be on this shit because of to promote shows and whatever. But if you don't have to be, like my brothers, you know what I mean? Like my brothers.
No, it's just very sweet. You're like, I know you're not mocking the podcast, but you're just like, I could have gone shit like this. And
No,
stuff.
I don't mean that. I didn't mean the podcast. I meant
I
like
know,
Twitter
it was,
and
I knew
Facebook
that you
and shit.
didn't,
Like,
but it was very funny
right.
to me that.
But
you're right.
Like,
this is shit.
Like
this is terrible.
My brothers have no
couldn't even get
social
Sons of Anarchy
media.
and Walking Dead
Yeah,
in the right.
you got
fucking
Norman
suck.
Reedus. How dare you?
suck.
I didn't fuck up that after show. Just the Sons of Anarchy one. But my brothers have no social media presence whatsoever. You couldn't find them because they're electricians. They don't need it.
I bet they're super fucking content with their lives,
Oh,
aren't they?
I mean, yeah, I hope so.
What do people who don't have social media get angry about? What does an electrician who doesn't use Facebook's Twitter,
overtime, shit like that. Like, are they getting it? Are they not getting it?
Yeah.
Are they paid properly? If the train's late from Long Island to New York
gas.
City, price of gas, things that you should get angry about.
Yeah.
I don't even know the price of gas.
Too high.
It's too high in Los Angeles, but we're in Los Angeles. We're idiots for being here.
The cheapest I could find recently was $4.05 for the 89.
Yeah,
I have to put in my old
about,
shit car.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That is a lot.
It went almost up to $5
come out to the valley.
Point.
We're about $3.89 in the valley.
I know, but I got to drive all the way there. I'm going to spend $10 and get.
$10, right.
This is what the kind of conversations that they have. This is the kind of conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
Normal
people.
I do it, but that's an extra
Normal
15
people.
minutes on my commute every morning.
And here we are. In hopes of what? We're sitting here. We live in Los Angeles, which can be a nice town at times, but.
Sure.
Like today is an absolutely fucking gorgeous day.
Beautiful.
It is 78 degrees and perfect.
And I've got the blinds closed.
I know.
We're inside.
I thought about that driving here. I'm like, I'm going to go sit in a podcast studio on the most gorgeous day of the year so far.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have that going for us. But otherwise, we don't. This is what, and all for what? Like, what's the ultimate goal? To make a lot of money in this fucking business? I made a lot of money in this business.
Yeah.
I did well. I've had ups and downs, but I've had one up.
You got a mortgage, got a house?
I got a mortgage and a house.
There you go.
I got two actually, and
two?
Yes, one I rent out. But let's not get. But I had a 10-year run on a show that paid me a lot of money, and since then I've had not a fucking thing. But I did well with my money, and I was able to now go on the road and not have to make. I don't have to make $200,000-$300,000 a year anymore.
Yeah.
Because I had a good run.
Yeah.
But
I'm a bit worried that my good run. I think I'm gonna get a second one here in America.
We all do. I hope.
In England, I already had one.
Good.
No, because I spent
you only
most
need
of
one.
that money. No, because I spent most of that good
did.
money run. I spent most of it on dating and cocaine.
Oh, you did? Yeah. See, that's fun.
I fucked a lot of people.
Really?
And I did a lot of cocaine.
Okay, I never have done ever cocaine, but I did fuck a lot of people. I was going wild.
Yeah, but that's why you own a house.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. Right.
That's why you own a house, bro.
But that's good though. More. Ultimately, I think in the end you want to say, hey, I got a story to tell. Most people don't have a story to tell.
Fingers crossed, career, America. It seems to be going well. I've been here 3.5, 4 years. Yeah. I'm doing all right.
Good.
But if it keeps going up, then I'll get the money again. And because I fucked up so badly with my money in England, now I'll be like, everything goes in a little savings.
Yeah, that's the way you got to do it.
And Class A's got no interest for me.
That'd be my one bit of advice to anyone starting out in this business. You don't need any of the shit you think. When I really made good money, I bought almost $100,000 Cadillac. I leased it. Which was $1,000 a month lease.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to do, the pussy was going to come falling out of trees as I drove down in this gorgeous Cadillac. Not one girl, I'm not kidding, not one girl who ever got in that car noticed it was a Cadillac or gave a fuck or every now and again, maybe a valet parker I'd pull up to. They'd be like, oh, this is a sweet car.
Man.
Yeah.
Sweet ride,
but
bro.
that's it.
Yeah.
Certainly wasn't
you
worth.
You should have taken them home.
It certainly wasn't worth $100,000.
Yeah.
So, and those are the kind of things I would say, just don't even bother. You don't even need that shit. Yeah. None of that. Save the money.
I don't want fancy cars. I don't want fancy clothes. I
This
wear the same jeans and t-shirt.
Yeah, this shit, everybody. I don't give a fuck if you're Tom Hanks. Eventually it goes, look at Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is still Tom Hanks, but Tom Hanks doesn't open a movie anymore.
Yeah.
You put those days are over. So it ends for everybody.
So Tom Hanks now is when he should go into his cocaine phase.
Yes, I would love it. Yes, he should.
That would be fucking dope.
Fantastic.
Can you imagine just on red carpet?
Yeah, if you just see him.
Great movie. Why did you put him in it?
Him getting busted like Kiefer Sutherland or something at a bar. Yeah.
See, that used to. Do you remember that? All the gripes that people now are overtly offended, just to round it back up to that.
Right.
That are so offended with now about celebrities. We used to celebrate that.
Celebrate.
It was look,
loved it.
The most recent would be Charlie Sheen was the most recent, where it was kind of almost like we were like, whoa, Charlie Sheen is losing his fucking mind, doing coke, fucking prostitutes, contracting STDs.
It's kind of what you wanted out of your famous people. Like, you have the opportunity to do it. Yes,
do you remember when he fucked a black prostitute in the back of a limo?
Right, not far from where we are right now.
Yeah.
He picked that girl up on Franklin and right here. That's where he picked that girl up.
She's still there. She's got her own podcast. She's got her own
She
podcast.
probably does.
The Deep Throat Podcast.
Oh, good God, I'd listen to that.
Dude, it was a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Thanks
for coming in. I enjoyed chatting with you. I
me
enjoyed you
too.
just like sharing your thoughts on comedy and stuff.
I hope so. I hope people enjoy it.
This Sunday or tonight, this episode is going out Sunday morning, so tonight you can catch Chris live at
Comedy Store in La Jolla.
There you go.
Comedy
Make
Store
sure you
in La
come
Jolla.
down to the Comedy Store in La Jolla. And then also, if you want to check out all live dates.
Live dates, Franjola.com. Franjola, Franjola.com. And I have a podcast as well.
Yeah.
If you're interested, it's called Cover to Cover with Chris Franjola. It's fun. We just talk about
a book?
Once a week. Well, it started out where I was going to take the New York Post and just kind of comment on the stories from the beginning to the end.
I like that.
But then I realized it leaned a little too New Yorky, like
Okay.
where people wouldn't care if, what happened on the corner of 57th and 9th. So now it's just become like me doing some news stories. And
Nice.
it's a
Topical
lot of
stuff
fun.
from the week.
From the week.
Dude,
Once
that's
a week.
a lot of work.
It is. I do enjoy it, though. I'm 27 episodes in, and we're doing really well. So
Awesome.
Come listen. It's fun.
Absolutely. Check
Get
it
some
out. Available,
gamers
I'm
or whatever
assuming,
your
on-
audience is.
Mostly just podcast listeners.
Oh, that's
just, like,
good. Yeah,
lovers of
people
comedy.
listen to podcasts. I like that.
Yeah. Well, it's a great way to have a friend in your ear while you're commuting or something like that.
I know.
think
I
that's
don't commute, so I don't do it.
There
Do
you
you
go.
commute?
I drive to meetings and shit. I try
Yeah.
not to be in my car if I can avoid it at all in LA.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I get in it, I'm stuck in it for an hour and a bit.
Brutal. I
Yeah.
know. Anyway.
But make sure you check that out, and also on social media. You are on social media.
I'm
You
on
really
all of
have.
those. Chris Franjola on everything. CHRIS FRANJOLA.
There you go.
On everything.
Make sure you check him out. Thank you very much for joining me, brother.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy your show this weekend, and I'll see you again soon.
Nice.